We have come to the final chapter of this whole tutorial. Up to now, we have talked about the whole workflow of creating a cinematic shot, and we talked about two different workflows. One is V-Ray offline rendering, and the other one is real-time rendering. So in this chapter, I'm going to be talking about some experimental and the latest technology that how to convert your iPhone into a virtual camera to create a very natural handheld cinematography. This is a pretty experimental method, and recently being made possible by Epic and Unreal Engine. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to use the augmented reality kit to turn your iPhone into a virtual camera so we can actually shoot the whole performance using our phone. And the shot we're going to be talking about in this chapter is going to be one of my personal projects I did a couple years ago. We'll have a full-length animation, and the first time I did this, I animated the camera by hand. But this time, we're going to try to use the iPhone to recapture this whole performance, basically to redo this camera. And because this shot is a long shot, one take, so being able to use your iPhone to shoot like how we actually do on set will boost up your productivity, especially when animating the camera, and as well as we can get a more realistic result when we're dealing with this kind of handheld cinematography. First thing, let's talk about the motion clips that we use to stitch together this whole full 600 frames of motion. Same thing, we use the same workflow, download this individual mocap clips from Mixamo, and we stitch them together, put it into a one long giant animation sequence. And then we're gonna use our iPhone to capture this whole performance. For a long shot like this, it would be really tricky to animate a very natural camera and to make, especially to maintain this sort of handheld animation. Okay, let's talk about the breakdown, or let's talk about the steps. The first step, same thing. We're gonna stitch together this motion and export the whole full-length animation into Unreal. All the export workflow is the same as we talked about in the previous section, and I should have included this motion clip in the project file as well if you extract from the Unreal project that I included. Okay, but before we talk about the actual shot, let's talk about a couple of small demos to set up this whole, to help you to set up this whole augmented reality, this whole virtual camera environment, and just to get everything ready, and then we're going to use the actual case to shoot our camera. So this is just a very simple scene that I built in Unreal with the assets, comes in with the Paragon asset package. It's all free, you can download from the official Unreal Marketplace. I just painted a couple of foliage and just to put something there so when we set up the camera we can see how it looks. And we're going to use our main character in this thing, in this test. Let's take a look at the result. Let's look at the short demo result just to see what kind of result we can achieve by this virtual camera setup. So what you see right now is I just imported a very simple character walking motion clips and shoot whatever you see here using the iPhone. So when I'm actually shooting this clip, I can see what you see in the viewport on my phone screen. So when I'm actually moved in the room holding my phone, I can see the real-time result that how this camera motion or my movement in the room will be translated into the scene. As you can see, as I walk, I can have some really natural camera shake. It's better than we use the script. And to be able to use this augmented reality function, you need to have a A9, I think A9 chip, and so either a iPhone 7 up or iPad 4 up. This kind of handheld cinematography can not only be used in action scene, and if we're gonna do some dialogue scene, it will be really interesting to shoot this whole dialogue scene or just the walking, and the result just looks so much better. And the best thing is we can set up the one character performance clip, and we can shoot this whole performance again, and the camera motion we get is instant. So within a very short amount of time, we can get different multiple takes, and we can choose the best one. It's just in general so much better than animating by hand. Since Apple ARKit is pretty decent, so the motion we get here needs, I would say, minimal tweaks after. Essentially just need to simplify the curves a little bit with the couple keys. This is the experimental feature, comes in with Unreal 2.40, and you can see if we go to the plugin, it's still in beta process. There will be some crashes and unstable, but in general it works. Okay, let's see another clip that to show you how this thing will help you in a shot like this. So this is another motion clip that just a character idle animation. Basically, he stands there and doing nothing. And for a camera shot like this, in terms of the camera, I only spent about 5 minutes to shoot this whole clip like 3 times and choose the best one. So being able to achieve some result like this within 5 minutes, we can spend more time in actually designing the shot and designing the performance than spending time keying the frames for the camera, trying to get a natural, realistic camera motion. In terms of the setup, that your phone has to be in the same network configuration with your desktop, and because the phone is streaming the data through Wi-Fi, so there will be some frame drops, but we can easily smooth those things out in either Maya later on, or just do a couple keys in Unreal. Before we talk about anything, I want to show you how to set up this whole virtual camera setting and connect with your iPhone first. So it actually comes with the official help document. Okay, if you download the Unreal Launcher, the first thing you need to do is go to under Learn section, and we go here. We have a virtual camera learning demo, and if we go in there, if it's the first time open this whole demo, there will be a download or add to project, something like that. And after you download that, you just create a new project to hold this whole virtual camera, all the files and stuff. And just find a place to save this project. This is a demo project, and we can use it later for our own personal project later. And once you download that and everything's set up, you open up the first time, you will see a demo scene in Paragon, and everything is set up in the scene. The camera is configured to virtual camera. But before we can connect to our iPhone and read the iPhone movement, there are a couple of things we need to do. The first thing, we need to download a app. It's called Unreal Remote 2 from App Store. This will allow us to stream the data from iPhone. You basically use the iPhone as a remote for the whole Unreal project. And then secondly, we need to create this whole project like I just talked about. And once it's open, we need to go to the plugin tab, and we need to activate a couple of plugins. If you update your Unreal Engine to 4.20, you should have all this plugin installed. We just need to activate. The first thing is we need to go under Virtual Production tab, and we need to check Virtual Camera plugin is enabled. And the second thing is we go to Augmented Reality tab, make sure the Apple ARKit is enabled as well. So for now, I think only supports iPhone or iPad. And the third thing is we go under Experimental tab and make sure Remote Session is enabled. Once you check them, and you may need to restart your Unreal Engine for them to take effect. Once you restarted your whole Unreal, and we need to go under our project settings. We navigate under Input, and we have to enable Always Show Touch Interface. This will allow us to interact with the interface on our phone. at all time. And then secondly, we need to go under Editor Preference. And we go under Play tab. Here we can set the resolution that will be shown on our phone. So what it does is it will determine how much or what resolution it will render on our phone screen. If your network is not that fast, you can lower the resolution as long as you keep the aspect ratio the same as your phone screen. So the lower the resolution, actually, the more efficient the whole Wi-Fi transaction. If you are experiencing some really bad lag or a latency, you can just lower as well. You can lower the resolution, and it will help you with the playback or real-time interactivity. Because we only need to see roughly what the image is from our iPhone. And the third thing, last very important thing, if we go under the Unreal official document website, we need to copy this 4 lines of code into our project folder. So if you go under the project virtual camera folder we just created, we can go to its root folder, and we navigate under configuration folder and open default engine with the text editor, and just to paste the code that we copy from the help document into this file. So this will allow our Unreal Engine to read the augmented reality data, the movement data from iPhone, and stream it back into Unreal Engine. Okay, now if everything's set up, let's launch the remote app on our phone first, and then we need to input the IP address of our main desktop. If you don't know your IP address, and under Windows system you can press Windows key and R, they will bring up the run command, and we go to CMD. After that, we input IP configuration, ipconfig, and this will tell you what's your IP address for your desktop. Okay, and then we input that IP address into our Unreal Remote app. Before we run this project, we need to make sure under world setting the overall game mode is set to virtual camera game mode. By default, it should already be set. Just make sure that under the blueprint, game mode is also set to virtual camera game mode. And then we just run this level. Okay, once it's activated, there's nothing happening here. So here we switch to our phone, and we make sure the IP address is correct, and we click connect. So right now, our phone is connected with our computer through the remote app and the remote session plugin we just enabled. Right now, the Unreal Engine is reading our iPhone's movements, so we can rotate, pan around, and tilt up and down. The best thing is because this is the augmented reality kit, so we can move in space, actually walk around the space, and our movement will be translated into this virtual camera movement as well. So it's not only the like an auto pan, it actually reads our 3D position in the world. So this is the first step to set up everything, and in the next lesson we'll talk about how to shoot the performance.
Purchase genuine tutorial. Enjoy the question answering from course tutor in the long term. Join the exclusive Facebook group and learn from each other. Also, you can sign up with Yihu.com. Search for the course ID. Obtain the full learning courseware, project files. Follow us on Facebook. Get closer to become a master in CG field.